What is the domain of death? Let us read again another passage of life. Domain of death, reigning the most material vital. Death, where does it exist? In the most material vital. Not so much in the mental, but in the physical and in the vital. That is the domain of death. Obviously, because when life entered into matter, the material objects called for light and light responded to the call. But the moment she entered into material objects, sprang up death. Sprang up death. The response to the entry of life in matter from the inconscience to throw the figure of death up, you see. So the material and vital is the domain of death completely, you see. So if you are able to really purify it, conquer it, make it strong enough, then you are free of death also, you see. Now, in the other case, let me read a passage again from the mother's other quotation I told you, volume 7, page 86-87. It all depends absolutely on the condition one dies. She of course says that if the links are broken, one dies between the subtle physical and the soul. If the link is snapped, then you die. Actually, that is also about to happen in the case of the mother. When she was in trance with Theon, you see, this link was completely broken practically. But then there was the divine hand behind her and she was saved. It all depends absolutely on the condition one dies and on the resolution of the psychic being. At the moment of death, one has the intense aspiration to return to continue your work. You want to continue work on Savitri. If you got an intense aspiration to continue work on, and if you remember that thing, if you are holding on to that thing firmly at the moment of death, then when you come back, you start Savitri work again. You start Savitri work again. Return to continue his work. Then the conditions are arranged for it to be done. So at that moment of death, if you think that you had to really come back to be with Savitri again, all the conditions get arranged. What are the conditions to get arranged? You had taken a new birth, you had to know good English to read Savitri, you had to learn all the scriptures, you had to do all those things. So those conditions kind of get arranged for you. You are born in a place where those atmospheres are present, you see. And then you continue your work, you see. So if you want to continue Savitri, then remember Savitri, and then you will be born in such a way that maybe you are not an Englishman, but you will have sufficient mastery over English language to enter with the spirit of Savitri. That is important, you see. Return. There are people for whom the psychic return to the psychic domain, obviously what we are saying is to assimilate the experience and to prepare their future life. They prepare their future life according. If you think that you have to write poetry, you have to do compose music, you have to do painting and all that thing, if you have got intense aspiration at the time of your death, Monet, if he is dying and his association with painting is so strong that I have not really done the true painting, the real painting, he will be born again to resume that kind of a thing. He will continue with that sort of a thing. Poet, same thing, everybody is evolved psychic is nearer to its complete maturity. Evolved psyche is nearer to its complete maturity. The greater the time between the births. Well, if the evolution of the psychic being has taken a lot, then between birth and birth, there is a long gap. As I said, it can be 100 years, it can be 1,000. 100 years is nothing actually. It can be 500 years, it can be 1,000 years, it can be even 2,000 years also. They come back after 1,000 years. 2,000 years, the mother says like that. 2,000 years. There is a choice between no longer coming back to earth. If you are sufficiently evolved and all that thing, you can decide, sorry, I don't want to come back at all. There is a choice, no longer coming back to earth, if it finds that its work lies elsewhere. Not on earth, but it has to do some work elsewhere. Well, this is a choice. He is free now from here, from this birth, and he can continue his work elsewhere, you see. From elsewhere, he can help you here, you see. He can influence, he can do certain things from there, instead of he himself coming back here. There is a choice between no longer coming back to earth if it finds that its work lies elsewhere, or if it prefers to remain in the purely psychic consciousness without reincarnating. So it can remain permanently in the psychic consciousness there. Without, it means it has stopped going further. It has stopped going further. Perfectly consciously. And there are those who have united with forces of universal order and with entities of the overmind or elsewhere, who remain all the time in the earth's atmosphere. They continue to remain in the earth's atmosphere. Well, actually, in the case of Savitri and the mother, they are in the subtle physical of the earth and doing work there. They have only changed the station from the gross physical to the subtle physical. They are there. Universal order, with their entities of overmind or elsewhere, who remain all the time in the earth atmosphere. Well, there are a lot of beings like that. Even a person like Narad, see, he is in contact with the earth. He comes periodically at crucial moments with the earth and does his work here, you see. A person like Narad is. And
they are there.
Take on. Pardon?
Sorry. They are there in the subtle physical because now, in this moment, it is important to be there.
But for instance, in the case of Narad, he is in the overmind world. And he comes here at crucial moment to help things here on earth, you see. He participates in that, you see. He undergoes the physical change from the spiritual body, he takes the gross physical body, comes here, does his work and goes back again like that. So there are beings like that all the while. Chiranjiva, as we call them, take on body successfully for the work. It depends on what it chooses. What the psychic being chooses, it entirely depends upon that, you see. It is the choice of the psychic being, you see. So there is no compulsion like that, there is no rule in how. Well, into creation center he had come, Ashokati, 77.7, you see. The spirit wandering from state to state finds here the silence of his starting point. Silence of his starting point in the formless force and the still fixity, formless force and still fixity and brooding passion of the world of soul. Well, let us read that. The spirits wandering from state to state finds the silence of the starting point in the formless force and still fixity and brood. Still means quiet, firm, fixity, and brooding passion of the world of soul. All that is made and once again unmade. The calm, persistent vision of the One inevitably remakes, it lives anew to gain new experience, to make progress. Forces and lives and beings and ideas are taken into stillness for a while. So all these actions, force, life, being, ideas, everything is taken back to assimilate here. They remove their purpose and their drift. Regard their nature and reform their shape. Well, that is the whole idea. Recast their nature, new shape life, make new destiny, like that, you see. Ever they change, and changing ever grow. So that change is good. The purpose is to grow constantly. You are not going out of the manifestation. You are still in manifestation and continuing to grow, making spiritual progress. Ever they change and changing, ever grow, and passing through a fruitful stage of death. Fruitful stage of death. See, that is helping you. All that was coming in the way of your progress, that is knocked off by death. That is knocked off by death completely. So it is really fruitful stage of death. And after long reconstituting sleep, it assumes the place in the process of the God until their work in cosmic time is done. So work continues, that thing. Ever they change, and changing ever grow, and passing through a fruitful stage of death. Fruitful stage of death. It's a wonderful phrase. The place where the striking beat goes after death is existing place. Now, what is the contribution of death? Fruitful stage of death. So, death is removing the obstacles which is coming in your progress. You are not able to make any progress at all. You got kind of stuck, and therefore death knocks out. You can start. Contribution of death for earthly progress. Fruitful stage of death, that is the contribution of death for earthly progress. A fruitful. Now, there is a similar phrase in other places in Savitri. Contribution of death for earthly progress. A fruitful worldwide ignorance. There is a phrase, a fruitful worldwide ignorance, 79.24. Fruitful worldwide ignorance. We'll meet that thing next time, earlier. Worldwide ignorance. Fruitful worldwide ignorance. It is helping you, see. Then 74.39, we have seen earlier, 74.39, a huge created death. A huge created death. 74.39. So, fruitful death, you have 79.24, you have 74.39, you have also 24.5. The fountain of his needed ignorance. Fountain of his needed ignorance, you see. 24.5. So, what a phrase, fruitful stage of death. Only a bold yogi can use such a phrase, you see, who knows everything, that yes, after all, death is a kind of a helper. You got stuck here in order to make progress. Well, at a moment, death is helping you. Death will continue to help you until you go out of ignorance completely. At that moment, the role of death is over. Now, that is exactly what had happened in the case of Satyavan. He had gone through the entire process of life, of evolutionary manifestation, of evolutionary growth, of evolutionary accumulation of merit and all that thing. Now, he found that it was impossible for him to grow any further, make any further progress. Death comes at that point of time, but death comes in the lap of Savitri. And then a totally new birth appears in him. That is the fruitful death. So, death of Satyavan, Savitri, Savitri, oh Savitri, lean down my soul and kiss me while I die. That is the fruitful death. That is the fruitful death. You see, he is going to be reborn now in the full divine qualities for his own spiritual growth, for his own manifestation. You see, that is going to happen here. Ever the change and changing ever grow. and passing through a fruitful stage of death. And after long reconstituting sleep, you assimilate all the experiences of the birth, assimilate, gather them, and then figure out what to do next time, what to do, etc., etc. You make your own design, mold your own destiny. You locate your parents, you locate your place, you locate everything, all the circumstances, and take your birth there. Resume their place in the process of the gods. Now, process of the God. It is not the gods who are going, but the way the gods are working out certain things, you become a participant of that process of the God, of your spiritual growth, of manifestation. Resume the place in the process of the God until their work, their of gods. There stands for God. Until their work in cosmic time is done. So you become a part of the cosmic work the gods are doing here. The gods are doing a certain work in the cosmic functioning, and you become a part of that process. You grow in that way. See. So that is why it becomes a fruitful stage of death. That you are able to participate in the process of God with the help of death. So it is a fruitful death.